Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Celeb back again for another review. This time around, I'm here to review Evil Within 2, brought to you by Tango Gameworks and Bethesda Softworks. This game does run on the id Tech 5 engine. The director, John Jonas, has taken the helm with the Evil Within 2 instead of Shinji Mikami, and the game released on Friday the 13th of this year. Now, there are a few things that I really loved about this game. There's a few things that I was a little upset about. So let's go ahead and get down into it. 3 years after the events of Beacon Mental Hospital, or the Evil Within 1, Sebastian has left the police force and continuously is haunted by his experiences at Beacon. With the disappearance of his wife and the death of his daughter in a house fire, Sebastian is approaching the point of being clinically insane until Julia Kidman comes up and tells him, "Hey, your daughter's still alive. We faked her death, and she's basically the core to a computer now." So he's very upset. He goes into a thing called STEM and a fake simulated town called Union to save his daughter and bring his family back together like once before. Now, first and foremost, I want to kind of talk about some of the characters in the game. Some of the enemies mainly. I really love the zombies or the Lost in the game. I love how there's a lot of them that are somewhat different. There's some of them that are a little bit slower, more heavy, and there's also some of them that are these type of screamer, real fast-paced kind of zombie modes as well, or zombie characters as well. That it makes it really diverse. And speaking of diversity, we can get into the aspect of the smaller bosses and the bigger bosses. Now, Stefano Valentini did create a kind of mini boss called the Obscura, which is a three-legged creature that has a giant camera on it that when it takes a picture of you, it kind of like freezes time and it can attack you. There's also the Guardian, which is a multi-headed female that has a giant chainsaw or chainsaw blade connected to her arm. And then there's also the characters called the Harbinger, which is brought to you by Father Theodore. This is a follower of Father Theodore. He has a flamethrower equipped, and he's totally crazy, just going around burning stuff all the time. And then we also saw some characters from the Evil Within 1. We saw the Sadist, and we also saw the Keeper as well in one level. Now, with that said, the enemies are very diverse. There's also a Hysteric, which is kind of like the witches from the Left 4 Dead series. They're very, very diverse. I think it really changes up a lot of the game. Now, but the biggest thing I think enemy-wise that I thoroughly enjoyed was the battles with the main bosses, with Stefano, with Theodore, and also, spoiler alert, I'm giving you till the count of 3, 2, 1 to get up out of the video if you don't want spoilers. And here we go. Myra as well. So the boss battles with Stefano, Theodore, and Myra were fantastic. I really, really liked how they played out. I loved how each one of these big bosses kind of changed the look and feel of the game. Stefano had this whole artsy, creepy feel to him. Theodore had this kind of like psychotic religious level, and also Myra had this real kind of blank, bland, queasy kind of level as well, to where everything was covered in this white goo, and it was definitely a crazy level to play in. But all this is in STEM the entire time. And as you guys know, with the core being gone, STEM cannot survive. So the town itself is crumbling in, and Sebastian only has a very small amount of time to find his daughter. So he has to fight off against all three of these people that want to keep Lily for herself. Myra wants to keep Lily to protect her. Stefano and Theodore want to keep Lily to get the power of the core themselves and make themselves super powerful. So it was a really, really cool decision to have these different type of characters. It really changed the game up from the previous one as well. I think the audio was fantastic. The voice acting was a little subpar at times. I think there was a lot of times that the support actors in the movie were really bland, really boring, and kind of took me out of the experience. But the main voice actors did a fantastic job on kind of pushing the emotion of the characters at that time. Now, to get into the bad things, we all know the graphics look amazing. We all know the control schemes were pretty good. But the bad things about this game, I run into a game, almost a game-breaking glitch into Chapter 6. I had been playing it for a good little time. I was doing a walkthrough of the game itself as well. And whenever I hit Chapter 6, I don't know why, but it continuously crashed over and over and over and over again. I cannot tell you guys how many times I tried to restart the system. I ended the game session. I did all this other stuff and it still didn't work. Well, eventually I got it to where I was able to get one chapter further, and then my data corrupted. So I had to start all the way back over on chapter 4 and then push through. I was really upset. And then another thing that kind of upset me as well, whenever I finally got into about chapter 14 or 15 of the game, I noticed that there was an update and it made the possibility of unlocking the frame rate in the game. Now, this game was locked at 30 frames per second for stability reasons, but I'd already gone through almost the entirety of the game, and I finally got the option to unlock the frame rate, and I really did feel that it was almost like I was playing somewhat of an updated version of the game that it made me enjoy it more. And I'm not the type of person that really talks about like, oh, well, we really need 60 frames per second, we need 4K. That's cool and it happens, but I really feel that The Evil Within could have really benefited of having a day one patch, of having that unlocked frame rate to where people can get as fast as a frame rate as they can on their consoles. So that's just my personal opinion. But back into the main little chunk of the review, I was really upset about the game-breaking glitch. There's a few times in the game that there was a couple of glitches here and there. But with that being said, I really don't think that it was such a horrible thing to make me not enjoy the game. The end of the game, the boss battle, it was probably one of the best boss battles I've had in a horror game in quite some time. I had said this previously earlier on in the year. I honestly do think The Evil Within 2 kind of had a bad rap before it launched because of the previous Evil Within. But I also think that this is going to be the dark horse horror game of 2017. If you get a chance to buy this game, please do so. It is a phenomenal game. I do think that these little glitches and stuff that I had may have possibly been because of the PlayStation 4 version of the game. And that's just my personal opinion. I can't say if that was a true statement or not, that's the reason why this happened, but sometimes that type of stuff happens and you got to just deal with it the best possible way you can. And what I did, I just kept on pushing through, and I thoroughly enjoyed what I played later on. As I was saying, the story mode was fantastic. The audio in the game was really great. I love the level up systems. I love how you have this system in Sebastian's room, which is part of Sebastian's mind or whatever. He has the ability of, you know, shooting these giant red blocks and blue blocks and getting more points to get upgrades for it as well. And the game is somewhat rewarding a lot of times too. There's a lot of times in the game that you kind of think, well, I don't really have much ammo at all. I'm about to get killed. And you always end up running up on the right amount of ammo that you need to get further on through the game. It is just one of those games that it keeps ammo really scarce in certain areas to make the survival aspect of the game even more enthralling. As I said, I do think this is going to be one of the dark horse, or is one of the dark horse horror games of 2017. It is definitely way better than the previous Evil Within, and I am giving it a buy. Please make sure to check this game out. With Black Friday coming right around the corner, I saw a lot of people posting that there's a possibility that a game like Evil Within 2 and some of these other games are going to be marked down to like $29 to $39. So if you get a chance, please pick this game up, and I honestly do hope that they continue the series on. Now, I don't think it had like, I don't think it had a ton of DLC or anything like that planned for the game, but if it happens, it happens, and I'm going to be one of the first people to buy it and show you guys some of the gameplay. So like I said, I'm giving it a buy. Make sure to check it out. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Make sure to check out my Call of Duty World War II review, and make sure to check out my Wolfenstein 2 review very soon. Big shout out to Bethesda and Tango Gameworks for all the amazing things they've done for us in the past. And that's it, guys. Make sure to check us out at secondopinionpod.com for the latest and greatest gaming news, reviews, and much more. Peace out.